Time for another sponsored build, this time thanks to Corsair, Gigabyte, AMD and Seagate. Here's a look at what I'll be using: Corsair Crystal 570X case, Gigabyte AX370 Gaming K7 motherboard, Corsair H100i cooler, Corsair RM850i power supply, 2 GB RX 580 graphics cards, Corsair Neutron 960GB SSD, and 32GB of Dominator Platinum DDR4 RAM. Also 2 Seagate 2TB drives, and an AMD 1800X, but I don't have boxes for those. And for lighting and cooling, the Corsair Commander Pro, with 4 LL120 RGB fans, and LED strips. Because it's Corsair, have to RGB everything. And here it is in all its glory. Definitely the coolest looking PC I've ever owned. The fans look amazing. Okay, so while I didn't choose the parts to this build, it does actually suit a lot of my needs. For example, the K7 motherboard has 9 USB ports at the back, and the 570X has 2 on top. So when I'm testing multiple products, I can still have my usual ones plugged in. The 32GB of DDR4 might be a bit overkill most of the time, but nice to have the freedom while editing videos. And yes, there's RGB on the motherboard too, although I've noticed it doesn't have a smooth transition for some reason. Even with App Center installed, it looks like this. Still cool, but a bit distracting with sudden changes. The Corsair H100i has kept the 1800X nice and cool, even under load, and it idles at around 39 degrees Celsius, and that's with all the fans on a fairly quiet setting. Here's a listen to it while it's idling. And this is what it sounds like when running Quake Champions. This is great for when I'm doing voiceovers or streaming. Really can't have fans being picked up by the microphones, so even when it's on top of the desk, you can barely hear it. Now I should mention this system build was actually delayed, so at the time, having 2 RX 580s was the best AMD could do. Obviously, if we were building the system today, it would have a Vega 64 in there. I haven't had much luck with Crossfire, since most people suggest single cards, so a Vega 64 would have been great, but on their own, the Gigabyte RX 580s perform quite well. I'll talk about the performance soon. Here's a quick look at the Seagate drives in the back. The case is tempered glass all around, even this side. Personally, I'm not confident enough with my cable management. I'd rather this be hidden. And on that note, can we start having more room in the back here for cables? This seemed a bit tight, sometimes hard to put the glass back on. You'll also see the SSD slot, and obviously 960GB is awesome for an SSD, because you can run most of your games from it. It's meant to be up at 500 meg per second write and read, just like the one in my other build. Super fast. The power supply is hidden away with a nice lit up logo on the side. Logo also on the cooler, and both of these need to be powered, meaning we have even more cables at the back. Another reason I want more space. And then there's the master controller, which makes all these fans and their management much easier. Took me a while to set up, but now that it is, I'm glad. So much easier just looking in Corsair Link. So you might be wondering, why was there such a delay on this system? And the answer is, we've been trying to work out what's causing performance issues. In Quake Live, I still can't get a solid FPS count, yet if I put an RX 580 in another machine, it gets a solid 250 frames. I've tested the RAM, the hard drives, the CPU as well. I've reinstalled Windows a few times. Gigabyte were even nice enough to replace the motherboard from a K3 to a K7. Still, cannot figure it out. So the system mostly works. It's great while editing videos and exporting them. And other than a random and rare stutter, it's good for recording audio too. All my videos for the last few months have been made with this PC. It's really good in a lot of ways, but it seems it's underperforming and we can't work out why. Even though this is a sponsored build, I can tell you the truth about it. And the truth is, all of these parts are really good, individually. Just for some reason, this combination isn't working. If I had to guess based on what I've seen and what others have said, I think it might be the AMD 1800X, possibly to do with the motherboard combo. Tried setting the power profile to performance, latest drivers and all that, so after months of trying, it's time to put this project to rest. I'm most likely going to break up the system and reuse the parts, because they're too good to let go. I just need to find working combinations for them all. If I ever work it out, I'll do some update videos. For now, can definitely recommend the Corsair products as always, high quality and solid. The Seagate drives have been good with all the video editing that I've been doing, and the CPU I don't know about yet. Unfortunately, AMD are not responding to me or my contacts, so I can't do anything about that until I get another chip. Gigabyte RX 580s have been great on other machines, so if those are in your budget, I can recommend those too. And if anyone from AMD ever watches this, feel free to contact me through Amwave, Corsair or Gigabyte. Happy to work with you, but can't do much if you don't respond. We tried for 6 months, so maybe they've been busy the entire time, but had to get this video done or it never would be. Okay, that's it for now. Stay tuned for updates. Usual links in the description if you want to help support the channel. And as always, subscribe, like and share this video, and I'll catch you in the next.